Yo, I'm Luxo and welcome back to this channel. It has been a while since the last video. It's due to this thing called not working fast enough. But I'm working on it and the game is progressing slowly. What do we actually have now in the game? The player who can die, you have a tram, we have NPCs who work half the time. You can grab stuff, that's pretty cool, you get the point. Where are all my main mechanics? There's no cohesion, it's all just all over the place. I need a mechanic so I can say like, hey, that's pretty nice. Maybe like edit that, look nice. The main thing in this game is the tram. It's also the thing that controls the flow of the game. If the player doesn't move the tram, there's just no progress at all. What's also a thing is that if the player keeps moving, then there also is no game, because they just finish it in record time. Imagine just grabbing a coffee and going back and just seeing the credits roll. So I'll just Luxo, and oh, Kevin MacLeod probably, no. I need to find a way to stop the player from messing up the progress of the game. I have to somehow manage it without force. One of the most important things in this game is player freedom. I don't want to give the player just one choice. I want them to roam around, I want them to look at stuff, I want them to jump out of the tram if they want to. I even consider the funny thing that Pokemon does player freedom, where they just like give you an option, the answer is yes or no and both just do the same thing. What if I just create the illusion of freedom, where it seems like you're progressing, but you're actually not? But how can I fake this progress? With so much repetition, you have the same trash, same tram stop, same trees, same mountains. I could simply generate an endless amount of tram stops and environments, like 40 million units on the x-axis, but I want to create a good story. And randomly generating stuff will make everything feel a bit fake. Also, I have to like stitch environments together and I'm not a good artist already, so no. My solution is actually way easier. Right now the tram is placed on a spline. You can just move the tram back and forth. So what if we just take the tram and just move it back in an instant? And I can simply just change small things in the environment. We can keep that one tree that the NPCs will react to, and it's way easier than just randomly generating stuff. The tram revert was actually very simple to make. I made this in like 5 minutes. The player and the tram simply just moves back in a split of a second. It's completely seamless, but only if you perfectly blink at the correct time. To make this transition less obvious, I added some visual effects. I slowed down time, I added a vignette, a bit of reverb and stuff. And I all combined this with a phone.
iPhone.
Whenever the phone rings, the player picks up the phone, the visual effects kick in, everything gets darker, and you teleport. After a conversation about how bad you are at your job, you're none the wiser. There's one big problem. The revert mechanic only kicks in when the player picks up the phone. But what if they just don't do that? What if they just don't pick up the phone? I simply made it so the tram revert happens between 2 points. The player has to do something to break that cycle, like talk to enough NPCs or do a specific narrative thing, I don't know. I simply want people to think like, wow, there's so much content in this game, I've not been here at all, and they have been there like 5 times, but a tree changed. For something like this, I made tunnels. You go in one, you go out the other. It's a whole vicious cycle. And because of darkness, it will be seamless. I connected everything together with colliders, some for teleporting, others for effects and stuff, and let's see if it all works. Should be easy enough. I mean, I didn't really use that much code, just like activate collider, deactivate collider. Oh, that's interesting. Because the way teleportation works, the player gets pushed back a little bit. I mean, that's not a problem all by itself, but if the player enters the dashboard and they exit the dashboard again while they have teleported, then they get invited to the Shadow Realm. The player is falling so fast the UI cannot even keep up anymore. After fixing this, I still found the transition to be too noticeable, so I added a small blinking moment where the game just goes dark for a split second and everything has happened already. Perfect. Besides the small chance of the colliders breaking and giving the player the invincible treatment, all's good. I finally made a good mechanic for a game. Let's just record some footage so I can end this and upload it very fast. Maybe I'll look for some small bugs as well. But I'm pretty good at programming, so there shouldn't be too many. Oh god. And why is this a thing? Oh, the game is actually rage baiting me. I just realized the player will always break my game. By any means necessary, even if they don't mean to. So I have to restrict the player somehow, while still leaving that player freedom alone. The tunnel should be a sacred place for trams only, but I don't want to force the player inside of the tram. If your game is as eventful as watching a cutscene, why not just watch a movie? And if somehow my game ends up being like that, then probably the review scores are done. I have only one solution. If the player is outside of the tram, I should simply just add those player borders again. You've seen those before, with like the grey box area. And if the player goes back into the tram, they simply deactivate. Now you're basically sandwiched between two tunnels. But it's good game design, because instead of the game saying go back, you are seemingly telling it to yourself. I deserve that. Does that fix everything? The player can still force its way behind the border by simply jumping out of the tram. So I added a system which closes the doors automatically when approaching the tunnel. If the player somehow gets outside of the doors when they're closing, they simply just remain open until the player goes in again. Finally, a working mechanic. I basically created an endless game loop until the player does the thing. Of course, NPCs are still a bit broken, but it's like tradition at this point. Next time, some more mechanics. Something like this. Ooh, wow, ooh. Wow, look at it go. Oh yeah, and I made a blog. It's still pretty primitive. You can check out my blog on luxo.dev. It's pretty cool, right? Anyways, see ya.